What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Matic TV. Good evening and welcome to the live stream. A little bit ahead of schedule today. That's because after this video, I'm jumping on with Owen and his channel. Don't forget, guys, come across and watch us there and get behind all your small local channels. Owen, me, and Bob's are on there later. But with me tonight, right here, right now, with plenty to say, I've got my man Zeki with me. Zeki, how's things, mate? How's your week been, my man?
Not been too bad. Could have been better after last night's result. But...
yeah, apart from United, mate, has it been all right? Yeah.
yeah.
It's usually the case midweek for us at the moment. Weekends are just about keeping us afloat, mate, with the football. But midweek games at the moment just seem to be a dead rubber and are painful, mate, to say the least. We'll get into the game in a minute. This video tonight is all about what is going on. A quick look ahead to the weekend as well. But the main points I'm going to be getting across tonight and getting Zeki's opinions on are, obviously, the season is drawing to a close, people. 10 games left in the league. The cup competition's hitting the quarter-final stages now, and it's happened. We have been hit by the injury bug, and it is taking and having an effect on this team right now. You can see it. It was clear as day last week against Palace. Same again against AC Milan last night. Not only with the players that are missing, but the players that are on the pitch just look finished and flat, knackered. It's getting to that stage now. There is a way out of this. There really is. You can pretty much get it from the title. From the thumbnail, gives you the way where I'm going with this one. But first of all, Zeki, mate, we'll touch on AC Milan. I was on the Rossoneri TV. I had them guys on. They were respectfully confident. And to be honest, mate, looking at that game and watching that game last night, I said it there and then, but I don't know how you feel about it. I thought AC Milan deserved more, mate, from that game. I thought they were by far the better team last night.
I thought after the game, I can't believe I'm moaning about a draw here because really, we, the team that stole the draw, I thought it should have been us that were getting the last-minute equaliser, not them, and chasing the game because they absolutely dominated us last night. And last night was a reminder of, I remember we got our confidence up after the PSG win. Was it last year or the year before? And then we went to Barcelona and we got brought right back down to reality. And that's what Milan did to us last night. They showed us that we are still not on that level to be competing with these big teams in the Champions League. And even if it is Europa League, we need to be beating these type of teams. Because look at Milan, they're having a good season. So if they're on a good season now, wait until we get into Champions League football. How are we going to deal with that?
Yeah, mate, this is exactly it. See, my point is, Zeki can jump in on this, and everyone get your comments in tonight. I'm really doing this video just to get your thoughts on this. I know there's going to be a lot of disagreement. I understand where people's points are coming from. Ollie needs this trophy, but I'm looking at the league position right now. I'm thinking we're in a comfortable position if we play our cards right. And by playing our cards right, I personally think this Europa League will destroy us this season. It is just one too many games for a team that has been thrust in, having had a poor pre-season. I didn't want to believe in that, but everyone told me at the time it was, and that's why we had the slow start. It's now catching up with us again because Cavani, Van der Beek, Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Mato. I mean, Zeki, mate, there's half a team right there, and I'm looking at it going, we cannot compete on all three fronts with these players missing. It's just impossible, mate. Danny's not even played and he's injured, mate. The injuries for me right now are a massive, massive concern for this because, again, looking at last night, mate, without Bruno, where is this team going? And if that injury comes about, I think you can write the season off, mate.
Just honestly, last night I thought, in the daytime when I was thinking about the team, and I thought, right, the front three, Greenwood, James, and I can't even say who else was it. Greenwood, James, who else was on his front three?
Martial,
yeah. I thought, where's our goals? Where's our goals going to come from tonight? I thought, yeah, nice, get Diallo and Mapi got his goal. We had to ruin it for him. And I think the injuries have just crept up on us. We've just been looking at the other teams, laughing at Liverpool with their injuries. Leicester caught up on them. They've got quite a lot at the moment, I believe. And all of a sudden we went from Cavani being out to somehow Donny van de Beek getting injured. I don't know where that's come from. To McTominay had a couple of weeks out. And now Rashford's not fit. And then I've heard Martial's not even definite for weekend. And I think the biggest one that's hit us is Paul Pogba. Yeah. I think that's been obvious with not just our results, but from the style of play in midfield. I think Robbie Savage touched on it last night. And in the midfield, we can't play with two number sixes that can't really break the line, make that pass, that killer pass that Pogba's got with Matic and McTominay, or Fred and McTominay. None of them have got that pass that Pogba's got. And I think that's where we're really missing out on at the moment.
Yeah, mate, that it's no coincidence our league form, City aside last week, which was a very good performance, and we did touch on that being our best performance in a long time and deserved the praise he got for that. But that game aside, it's been dross, mate, ever since Pogba dropped out of this team injured. And you nailed it there, Zeki, mate. I've touched on it myself. A few others who've been on the show have said exactly the same thing, mate, that without Pogba, Bruno's game suffers because the pressure has been taken off Bruno when Pogba's playing. And while he was playing, he was our best player. I mean, I said it. I was talking again to the Rossoneri guys talking about Pogba, and they were looking at it as a problem. And I said, ever since Mino Raiola came out and said what he said, Pogba has been superb. His attitude on the pitch, at least, where it matters, is and has been absolutely spot on. I mean, he dragged this team through some tricky games, and I'm looking at it going, since he did drop out injured, it has fallen off a cliff form-wise, mate. But the biggest concern is we didn't squad rotate early on, mate. These games now, AC Milan, San Siro next week, then you're looking at it going AC Milan away from home, the way they played, and if they get their players back, and we know that they've got some serious players coming back as well, and they still pretty much played us off the park last night, and credit to Milan. It was just, for me, looking at that game last night, one too many games for us. And our games in the Premier League, mate, I'm looking at them and going, right, West Ham this weekend. Oh, that is a big, big game. We'll touch on that soon. And it's going to be a tough game knowing that West Ham have had a full week to prepare for this. And David Moyes' tactics this season, I don't like the man, but I'm not going to take away the achievement that he's had and what he's done with that West Ham team this season, because you have to give him praise. I'm not one to, because I don't like someone, not praise him, but I'm seeing that David Moyes has got a plan already for us. And if we're missing key players, it's going to make it all the worse. But AC Milan next week, last night, it looked like one too many game for this squad, mate. We just looked knackered. We really did look knackered, mate. In second half, as soon as we got the goal, it was like, well, we can try and hold on to this. And I want to get your thoughts now, Zeki, on what Ollie decided to do last night with them substitutes. It was like he just went, okay, we hold what we've got, and let's see if we can just hold AC Milan out and take a one-goal lead over to the San Siro next week. And it backfired on him, mate. It backfired in the end. What did you think? A lot of people have had their opinion on them subs last night. Very defence-minded. I can't still figure out what he's doing, but, I mean, how did you see it, Zeki?
Before I just touch on the subs, I thought, like the style of play last night, it reminded me a lot of Van Gaal, football under Van Gaal at the start of the first half. It was very slow. We weren't into the game. I was falling to sleep. The players looked like they wanted to go to bed instead of play. I don't know whether it was an early kickoff. I suppose you could say that fact comes into play with us playing so early on a midweek game. But then moving on to the subs, I'd say I thought Ollie thought I'll chuck one on, and then he thought, all right, I'll have another. Diallo, you seen that Diallo was successful. Put another. Then obviously Williams came on later on. And it just seemed blatantly that the subs that Solskjaer's been making, they haven't really been making an impact positively. Look at Everton. We both watched that together, unfortunately. And he brought on Tuanzebe, who came on and made a rash tackle and cost us the game. Last night, I wouldn't really say the subs cost us the game, but still they definitely changed the style of play that we were going with. I wouldn't say they were directly involved in their goal, but I'd say they definitely had a factor to play in it. And I just think we're seeing now that Solskjaer really does need to think about the subs that he's making and make sure that he makes the right ones, because they are costing us quite a lot of points. And last night they cost us a very hard game to go to the San Siro next week. And if they play defensively strong as they did in that first half, then it's going to be a very hard game for us if we don't score first.
Yeah, quick shout out. There are a lot of, quick one, guys. There are a lot of fake accounts out there on YouTube and so on and so forth. But this comment from Mick the Red UK, being straight off Twitter, and he has got a lot of fans and followers who sometimes use his actual logo. But if that is you, Rick, mate, it does sound like a Rick comment to me, that as well. And I have heard him say that before. So if that is you, Rick, hello, mate. Good to hear from you, my man. Anyway, would love to get you on sometime, as everyone has asked me to. But I know what you're saying. He was playing against Sheffield United. It's not always been fantastic, true. But do you not feel like we've got a better chance with him in the team? I think that is the main thing to take away from it. But I'm thinking now, going forward, AC Milan, I think tactics-wise, we got found out last night, Zeki. Because it wasn't no coincidence that they had the free header. The Henderson people, I've backed him up. I've said I want him in ahead of De Gea. He did make an error. I know that. He was at fault partly for that goal. We shouldn't have conceded the corner. We shouldn't have been giving their defender a free header in the box, but we got Italified. We absolutely got nailed in there. Our marker got blocked off and free header, in it went, and away goal for them. This is how it goes down when you've got serious tacticians like the Italians are, especially AC Milan. Then you're going to get this happen to you. We got found out. I'm looking at it now as I keep going. For you, mate, AC Milan next week, what do you do? Ollie's already said he's going for it, mate. He's already said it. He said we need to go there and go for the win. What that means, I do not know. He probably knows that maybe we got some players coming back, but I'm looking at them players coming back. Is it really the game for the players who've been out for a while to be thrust straight into a game of that importance and intensity, mate? Because Milan are not going to hold back. They're going to come at us like they did yesterday. And is it the right time to bring them players back? Is it more of a desperation throw?
I suppose it all depends on the players. If it's Marcus Rashford, the two players that I'd say that need to play next week, if they are fully fit, Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford, because they will have a direct impact on the game. I can guarantee if they play, they'll have a direct impact on that game next week and the result. And if they don't play, then we'll just have to hope for the best, because next week will not be an easy game. And Solskjaer's come out and said this a few times now. We're going to go for this game. We're going to go for this game. He said that about Leipzig. And we all know what happened there. He said that about Liverpool, and we didn't get the result there this season at home, away. And he said that at City this season at home, 0-0. So hopefully this time he means it, and we're going to go for the game, because at the moment, with the team that we've got, can we really go for the game with the team that we had last night? I don't think we can.
No, I mean, David Hatton's just come up with it there. Hi, Adam. How can you condone Wally playing 8 defenders with 20 minutes to go at home? Do you know what, mate? This season, I've given up on trying to explain what every manager's done at one point or another this season. Ollie has done the same. You know what? I'm still scratching my head because I still don't see a plan. I don't see a style of football. I just see him. I just, you know what? I'm still baffled by it, Zeki, mate, because I don't see how. I can see it in the bigger games, like against City. It suits the setup, suits us. But whenever we're favourites, or whenever we get to a stage like we did at the top of the league, it's like we don't feel like we belong there, and then we fall off. Last night, we just turned up and expected to win. For me, I think we looked at that Milan team missing certain players. Theo Hernandez, Rebic, Zlatan, whoever you want to pick, mate. They had plenty of players out last night.
You're missing half the team.
And I know we did as well, but it looks like he's setting up not to lose more than going for the win at the moment. And that is a massive worry, mate, because if we do that going into these last few games, I said it last night, we probably get what we deserve, mate. And last night we finally did. That's why some people couldn't understand what I said on Twitter by saying, what did I say now? I made a sarcastic remark at the start of my tweet by saying brilliant, I think. And everyone was questioning my support. People, whatever you do, don't be sarcastic on Twitter. It doesn't go down well. We've got some numpties on that social media platform. Yeah, heaven forbid you try and be sarcastic on Twitter. But yeah, and it was what we deserve, mate. But everyone's bringing up the same point all the time, Zeki. All them defensive substitutions when we're 1-0 up, and we could really kill this tie off and possibly give ourselves a bit of breathing space in the second leg. Now we've got all the work in the world to do. in your opinion, mate, right now, I just want to know where you stand with it. What would you do? Would you just say, you know what, if there's one competition to go out of, it's this one? Or do you just go, well, we desperately need this trophy. We've got to go and play whatever we've got available. But that is going to be detriment to the league game the following weekend, mate, as we're going to see this weekend, I think.
It's a tough one because if you go back on the video, the video after the Leipzig game, and we were in the Europa League, I actually said on here, I said, I don't care about the Europa League. I said, give the youngsters a shot out, bring up some players and play them. And it seems that they have been getting a chance, but that's only because of injuries. And I thought, I don't want to win the Europa League. I don't want to even be in the Europa League. I'd rather just go out of Europe fully when we came out of the Champions League. But now when you think about it, with obviously the league, at that time the league was in the picture, we still had a chance to win the league. And obviously that's not looking likely anymore with City's form, even though we did beat them. So I think now we have got to go for a trophy this year, whether it's the FA Cup, we've still got a chance at, and we've still got a chance at Europa League. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather take them both if we can. At the end of the day, we're Manchester United. We want to win everything that we can, not just the FA Cup and say, oh, we'd rather do well in the league and be knocked out the Europa League. We should do well in everything. That should be our expectations. So yeah, I'd want to win Europa League, and I think next week we've got to go all out, no matter what league game we've got coming up.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I mean, out of Europa League and FA Cup, I can see some of the comments are coming in. Who else is supposed to play last night in terms of the squad? Well, there's plenty of players who could have played last night, let's be honest. But I'm looking at it now going, at the stage we're at now, last night, you can argue that point. But right now, what do we do from this point? Because like I just said there, my main concern isn't not so much what happened last night. We've seen that all season. It's what happens next. What happens next is we have injured players coming back. And if we bring them back in such an intense game like the San Siro, are we then taking away some of what we could be needing in the league the following weekend? Because I'm looking at West Ham this weekend, and when we come back after the San Siro next week, it's Leicester in the FA Cup, another trophy. We don't play it right, we could be out of all of them and just have the league left, mate. Then we're not worrying about injuries. So I'm going FA Cup or Europa League, mate. Which one would you prefer to go for? Which one would you prefer to win, really?
It's a hard one, isn't it? But I would say Europa League. We want some success in Europe, definitely. Especially if we're competing in the league for Champions League. We need to show that the teams that we are going to be facing in the Champions League, that we have got some dominance in Europe still. And we might not be winning the Champions League, but at least we want to be getting somewhere in it and not be going out in the group stage. Yeah. So I think we should assert our dominance. I know it's not the Champions League, but still, it's in Europe, and I'd rather win the Europa League personally. I don't know about you.
I'd have the FA Cup, I'll be honest, mate. I'd have the FA Cup. The Europa League just does my head in. I understand what it brings. I just feel like, I don't know, it seems like a cop-out having been knocked out of a competition. If we was in the Europa League from the start, like Arsenal have been, and you've worked your way all the way through it, then you could sort of get up for it a little bit more. The fact that we've gone out of the Champions League does my head in. It just feels like you just dropped down a level, and I think that is ultimately where the players' heads are at with it. They were in the Champions League. They don't want to be in the Europa League. If you're playing the Europa League all the way through from the start, then you're sort of used to it and you're sort of in the groove with it. You're accepting it. I don't think these players are up for the Europa League, mate. It really didn't look like it last night. And I'm worried now for the West Ham game. But, I mean, quickly, I just want to touch on a fair point there from Marco as well. We have the squad to be battling City for first. The coaches have let us down massively. Well, we thought, and I thought, when everything was going down early in the season, we had the perfect squad to at least battle this crazy-ass season, Mark, mate. And I think we missed our chance early doors. We should have been taking advantage more of City's poor form. But my major issue, again, with this season is the fact that we got to the top spot and completely bottled it. That's what I've got an issue with. Moving on, though, mate. Quickly, before we get into this weekend, guys, I don't know if you've seen it as well. News, obviously, about everyone's seen Director of Football coming in, Zeki. We've seen the news that Darren Fletcher's now part of it as well. I said what I needed to say on this, but rumours have it the first sort of signing they are looking at is Ben White from Brighton.
Oh,
I don't mind Ben White. I think he's a good player, but is this the sort of player that United's new directors of football or transfer committee, whatever you want to call it, should be going for? Is this what we should be going for? Because if we get our asses handed to us with the price again, then it's going to make this setup look kind of silly, don't you think? And then I hear today that negotiations for Eric Bailly for a new contract have started to kick into gear as well. Worrying signs for the amount of money this club may be thinking of spending in the summer, Zeki.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because at first someone in the group chat was saying, and they made a valid point about Ben White being, is he good enough to be getting us in Europe next season and winning in Europe next season? Is he good enough to be taking us that next level in the league to be serious contenders right to the end of the season? Whereas this season, obviously, we dropped off halfway through. And I don't think he is personally. I think it's a rash decision to say straight away, yeah, we want Ben White, because we looked at Maguire. He had a brilliant World Cup. You can't deny that. And then all of a sudden we said, right, there's the money. Overpaid by, I don't know how much we should have paid for Maguire. Still overpaid. Paid 80 million for him. Brought him in. And I've not seen a massive difference in this team that we thought we was going to see from a captain, a record-breaking centre-back fee, Harry Maguire. I don't think we've seen that. And I can see us paying the same amount with Ben White, not 80 million, but overpaying massively for an English player, which is what we normally do. And it'll be interesting to see now with these new appointments, will we go for the transfers earlier on? Because you know what we're like, last minute, and then the price doubles. Look at Maguire, we had him for 50 million, I think it was, ready. We could have done it, we didn't. Saved it to last minute 80. Sancho, 80 million he was, we could have got him for last year. This year, we left it all the way till the end of the summer, 120 million. I want to see if we get the deals done earlier. And that we will see an impact from that with the prices that we're paying for players.
Yeah, quick shout out to Phil for the super chat. Cheers, Phil, mate. FA Cup for me, City could win the treble, boys. Yeah, to stop City getting that would be ideal, mate. Yeah, if we were to get one. But this is the thing, isn't it? People in the comments are coming up with no, definitely not to Ben White. That's pretty much a resounding no. I mean, I don't mind the guy. I think he's got qualities, but I don't think there's any player at that Brighton squad, no disrespect, who's worth any more than 25 million. And there's no way that United are going to be able to get an English centre-back for anything less than 50 million. If that, as crazy as it sounds, does happen, then this new director of football set up at United is going to look like complete idiots from the get-go, mate. And it's going to be a bad vibe going straight out again and sending out the wrong signals. They need to make a stand and make a stand early by, like you said, Zeki, mate, getting out there right now, looking at the targets. If there is anyone they can afford and buy, go get it done early. And then, you know what? We may get a better price for it, like you said, mate, rather than waiting around dilly-dallying all the time. I still do think that the two appointments for the directors of football at the football club appointed from within, and whether that happens, whenever that happens in any company or any business, for me, it just got that horrible vibe of we're just appointing two more yes men for Ed Woodward and his puppet mastery to actually control and tell them what to do still. Because let's be honest, they can do all the negotiating if they want, and then it's going to come to Woodward and he's going to go, hang on a minute, what budget have I got for this? What's that? You've got Matt Judge still in there as well. It's not all going to be down to them. They're going to do probably most of the work, and give Woodward time to do his other stuff, but there's still going to be an element of him involved in it and Matt Judge. So for me, I don't know. Time will tell. I will give it time. I don't want to condemn it straight away, but I just still not... I think it's because the bad vibe behind the scenes at the club, no matter what happens, we're always going to feel a bit thingy about it. But I think that there is better appointments out there. United just don't seem to do it, mate. They really don't.
It seems something that's just been put there because we've been asking the stands for director of football for how long. We've seen other clubs with one and it's worked successfully. And I remember about 7 months ago, I had a sign here, Ed Woodward out after the first game of the season, and we blamed him for not having the transfers. And I think what he's done is hoping that if the transfers don't go right, exactly, it won't be United fans turning up at his house. They'll be putting blame on Fletcher and the other bloke, whose name I don't really know, but they're putting the blame on them, and I think that's what Woodward's hoping for here, and the Glazers hoping for, that their little boy Woodward won't get all the blame.
Yeah, that's it. That's another point that I wanted to bring into the Europa League debate. I think we've got a better chance of securing some finances in the Champions League by finishing in the top 4, rather than taking a risk that we could get that one-off game that we got last night and get knocked out of the Europa League. Because the only reason United's books for these first 2 quarters are actually looking half decent and respectable is because the Champions League money has pretty much subsidised the lack of match day revenues. And without this Champions League, mate, we ain't buying anyone this summer. It's going to be the same old. And then we're all worrying about who might leave, because there's rumours about Bruno not signing his extension. I mean, God forbid, he'd been here a year and we're talking about him not signing a contract extension. I think we need to settle down a little bit on that one. But the Pogbas, then you're looking at the Martials, and Martials had a poor season. We all know that. But if the club ain't going to bring in a replacement, mate, then I'm fearing Martial going, because I'm fearing Donny van der Beek. Where's his at? And if there is no money coming in, I think it's vital that we concentrate on just getting that Champions League and looking ahead to next season, thinking we might have some Champions League money at least, and we may be able to make a signing if we do trade in a player here and there. So that's another point I wanted to get across in terms of forgetting about the Europa League and just concentrating on the league and the FA Cup. We made our money this season from the Champions League. We ain't going to get much more from the Europa. Let's not destroy our squad and deplete it as much as it already is. And let's just concentrate on the league. It's just, for me, it makes more sense, but I understand everyone wants a trophy. But I want to see better players at the club. I'm looking ahead to next season as well already. I know it's a bit premature, but I do want us to actually stand the chance next season and improve again. Without that Champions League, we don't. We just fall straight back, and that's a big, big fear of mine on that. But speaking of the league, Zeki, you've got to be scared this weekend, mate. Can't believe I'm saying it, but
how silly is this? West Ham.
It looks like a very, very tough game, mate. This now all of a sudden, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's so surprising that you can start to say, right, well, Souček's better than him, and Lingard's possibly in better form than him, and Koufal's better than him. When have we ever looked at a West Ham team and thought, well, hang on a minute, some of their players are in better form than our players, and not just better form, possibly better players than our players. And normally we see West Ham as, oh, right, we've got another relegation team on the weekend. I'm looking forward to it, but this weekend I'm not looking forward to it, especially with the rest they've had.
Yeah, mate. I mean, I'm looking at the form and I'm going, oh, West Ham look like are in decent form. And I said it at the start of the video as well, mate. Them having a full week to prepare, and now Moyes knows how to play and get his tactics against United, especially at Old Trafford, mate. He did it to us last season, mate. Stalemated the place. He can do it again. And, well, Antonio's had a bit of time off to rest and he's probably going to be available. Is a massive, massive concern. I mean, looking at that West Ham team, mate, I mean, there's threats all over the place for our defence. And then I'm looking at the form of the forwards. If we have got any forwards fit, this West Ham defence looked quite solid as well all of a sudden, mate.
I think for the weekend, I'd like to see Diallo in that team. I'd like to see him in the starting lineup. I don't want to get ahead. I know he scored a nice goal midweek, and I'm not saying that's his place in the first team from now on. But I mean, looking into the West Ham game with the forward options we've got, chuck him in there, let him show us what we've got. And if he doesn't perform this to his best, then what's wrong with taking him off? And I know it might stump his confidence a bit, but we've got to go for this game. We've got to think if we lose this game, then we really have sleptwalk into a top 4 race. And we're starting to look at the Chelsea results. We're starting to look Tottenham results. Tottenham are in good form. Also, they're caught up to us. We were 4 points behind Chelsea, is it? Then if we didn't beat City, then that's 1 point. So we really got to keep an eye on a team we're playing, because every game now is becoming an important game.
Yeah, and this is like your 6-pointer sort of format now, mate, as well. Because West Ham are right behind us. West Ham are there, and they will be right up on our asses if they do beat us at Old Trafford. And there's every chance of that. Let's be fair. I think this is a complete 50-50 game. Some will probably say is West Ham probably favourites, knowing how United have played in the week and the depleted squad that we've got. We're not going to know about the injuries until probably tomorrow, I'm guessing, in terms of who may be fit, who won't be. He's talking about Cavani may be back. We'll see how Martial is. Greenwood's just form is just nowhere near good enough. James is Dan James. 1 week he will be good and do a job for you, but he will fade away like he always has done. And that is what we bought in Dan James. He's not a starter every single week. It's unfair on him to actually be thrusting him into that team and saying, Dan James, you've got to do something this week. I do think that's unfair, but I'm looking at our team and I don't know who's going to play, mate. Midfield-wise, though, I want to touch on this with you, Zeki, mate. The McFred combination, mate. It's running very, very tired and lethargic. And let's be honest, mate, not many United fans are liking it right now. It's too predictable and it's easy to play against if you want to defend. I honestly, though, bringing in someone like Matic doesn't really change much for me, though. I see him last night. I thought he was poor last night, Matic. I thought he was very, very slow. And a player like him coming in, having not played a lot of games, that's not his fault. But he's going to need time to adapt. West Ham, with their midfield, how are you going to approach this in midfield, mate? Because Ollie won't change the shape. So it looks like we're stuck with the rigid double pivot every single game. And all he's doing is changing the personnel in that double pivot, mate. And it needs more. It needs more because our lack of creativity starts there. And it's just not there, mate. Especially when Fred and McTominay playing. And I would say both of them, especially Fred, mate, he's doing my head in at the moment, are completely out of form.
Yeah. I think we've seen now that we can't really moan as much as we used to about having Fred and McTominay in these big games, for example, City, because they did turn up and City style of play suited Fred and McTominay, but West Ham style of play isn't. And if we know what David Moyes is already going to do, I think most United fans do, is that he's going to come and hope for a draw, or he's going to hope for a lucky win, and he's going to come to United, he's going to come to Old Trafford, and he's going to play defensive football like he did in the Cup. He held out, we only beat him just before it got to penalties. He's going to do that again this weekend, I think, and I don't think Fred and McTominay are going to really suit that type of game. It all depends on McTominay, because we see it with him sometimes. We had a game in the season where he was making them runs, he was getting forward into the box. It was a Real Sociedad away in the first leg, and he was making them runs forward. And in that game, the Matic and McTominay worked. But this weekend, what do you do? Because Matic obviously started last night, and is he going to be able to run for 90 minutes against West Ham, getting chased around by a very strong West Ham midfield, I would say, that don't stop running? Look at Declan Rice, Lingard, Souček. This weekend, if our midfield don't turn up, we can make them look like Iniesta and Xavi. So that's where it goes wrong or goes right for me this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to ask this to you now. I'm going to put it to you, Zeki, mate. If this is the problem we're having, why aren't we a little bit more flexible formation-wise, mate? Looking at what we've got available, can you give me another formation that you think might actually work? Instead of trying to find players for this formation and running out of players and then just giving up and putting anyone in, give me a formation, mate, that you would play just to counteract it. Give us a better chance, knowing who's available right now.
I don't know. It really is a tough one, isn't it? I think Ollie's I would say 4-4-2, but then who you can't. There's not enough players to put out wide and up top, and there's no creation in midfield. It is a difficult one because
Could you play a Scott McTominay alongside Bruno in the middle of a 4-4-2?
Oh yes, McTominay, Bruno, and then who do you have out wide? James and Greenwood out wide.
James and Greenwood, and then you've got your centre forwards who are missing, or you could bring in Diallo for the wing.
Yep, yeah, and go with the Greenwood, Martial up front. But then it also depends if Martial's fit. So it really is difficult, and I think Solskjaer won't do that. We've seen at home this season when we were comfortably winning to Real Sociedad, and he didn't change to a 4-4-2 when we had the chance to, and we've seen it against Southampton at home. We're winning 8-0. I know we played very attacking football, but we still didn't change formation. The formation stayed the same. I don't know if Solskjaer's trying to show that bit of maturity as a manager, that he has a formation and he sticks to it. But we see with other managers, look at Bielsa, when he has to chase a game, he changes the formation, he changes the style of play. Will Solskjaer do that? I don't think he will.
No, there has to be another way around it, mate. There really does, because we were exhausting this formation with the players that we've got, and I'm looking at it going, I'm putting myself in David Moyes' position right now, and I'm already thinking, I know, because Ollie's that stubborn with his formation and the way he plays, that I know how Ollie's going to approach this game, Zeki. That's how I'm looking at it as David Moyes. You know it is. It's simple, mate. So here's one. If we get... I think if we possibly get a Donny van de Beek back fit and is available for this game, would you would play him? I know you would, but do you think Ole would play him?
When's the last time he actually played football, Donny van de Beek? That's what you got a question. I think he's had more minutes at home in his back garden than on Old Trafford's pitch.
Mate, I'm losing. I can't remember, mate. I can't honestly remember the last time he played.
It's ridiculous for a summer signing. I understand, sit him on the bench, let him watch Premier League football, but he's not that young. You don't forget he's got experience in Ajax. He's got Champions League experience, taking Ajax to semi-finals last season with Tottenham. It's just ridiculous. That's another topic, but I would play Van de Beek this season, despite him not having the minutes that he deserves to be having, and obviously because of injury, but you've got to put him into that team. He's no good on that bench, especially, I know he's come back from injury, but look at the other midfield options. I'd put him in, definitely, over a Matic, over Fred's current form. I'd put him in there, yeah.
I mean, is there anything that Fred does that Donny van de Beek couldn't do?
It would be silly to say physicality, but because look, Fred's about 5 foot, but
yeah,
he still
Fred's
gets
physicality.
Around well.
Yeah, he does. He feels the best thing Fred's got is his tenacity. It's as simple as that. That's all I see him bringing to this team. I'll give up on Fred. I think Fred's had long enough. I think he does. I think he's had more than enough chance to prove himself or try and nail down a position. I still don't know what his best position is. I think we're shoehorning him into that holding role.
I think what summed up this, Adam, is, sorry to cut you off, what you're saying right now is that he missed a good opportunity against Chelsea where there was options for a pass, and you see he went for a shot, and it wasn't actually a bad shot, but he still missed the target, and Solskjaer was laughing his head off and clapping him. And that just shows, like, Fred's time at this club. Yeah, I'll praise him when he does well, and I really do praise him because I enjoy it when he plays well, because he's enjoyable to watch. The tackles he makes, wins the ball backs, creates an opportunity. But when he's not doing that, what does he really offer at the club and on the pitch, especially in games like this coming up? What does he offer going forward in games that we are going to be playing more?
He offers nothing over the halfway line, mate, which is why I still question what Ollie did last night with the subs, because since when he came on, he was our furthest man forward. It's like Fred, the smallest man on the pitch, who can't do anything in the second half, in the top half of the pitch. He's our target man all of a sudden. It was baffling, mate. It was absolutely baffling. But I'm looking at it going right now. This is all we've got. This is all we've got right now. Fred and McTominay and Matic. McTominay has chipped in with goals this season and has actually proved his worth because we didn't pay anything for him. That's what I'll say about McTominay. I think he is happy in the squad doing his job, what he's doing. Fred, I don't know what it is with United and Brazilians, South Americans, to be honest, in general. We just don't seem to get it right. They don't seem to mix. Cavani looks good, but we can't get him fit. It just does not work. We just get the worst Brazilians that have ever been bled into that Brazilian shirt. I tell you, it's a United curse with South American players.
Di Maria, Falcao, all these.
Before we move on and try and deal with what team's going to be picked, mate, is there anyone else you would think about bringing up, promoting from the youth setup right now? I know there's plenty of players in form, mate, but there is a big step to come up.
It is definitely a big step, and especially with Ahmad and Shorty still on the bench, to promote even more players that haven't really had any Premier League minutes or observed Premier League football straight from the bench. It's difficult to say. And I do like the look of Medri, but I'm not sure if you can chuck him straight into a game like this that we need to win. It would be hard. But like I said, I would. The one change I'd make is giving Diallo or Shortire a start, definitely.
Where would you
letting them at least prove
Where would you
themselves.
play Shortire, mate?
It's a tough one because we've not really seen enough of him to really identify his key position. But depending on the way he's going to line up the midfield, I would put him in somewhere in there. Obviously, he doesn't take Bruno's place. But we have seen that when Bruno first came in, he wasn't most effective, but he was still able to play a more deeper role and allow someone else to play in front of him, which was when he first came in was Pereira. And we're still seeing that kind of worked a bit, but obviously he wasn't as effective. So definitely put him in somewhere in the midfield, but I would rather have Diallo in that starting lineup.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Ryan Williams, mate. That Rafael was my favourite Brazilian that came to United. That guy at least showed the hunger and was up for a fight and was actually not a bad defender. A bit rash, but if that's the best Brazilian that we've had, then it says everything you need to know, doesn't it? That really does. Axel sat on the bench there, mate. Is there a chance for Axel to come into this team to freshen things up?
You look at West Ham striker and it's Antonio. He's fast, strong, and I suppose he would work in there. Maguire's obviously got the strength side and Tuanzebe's quite fast. We've seen it with Mbappe this season. But then you can't deal with Calvert-Lewin for 5 minutes. So it's a bit of a roller coaster of a season and career, you'd say, for him already at United.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in this team for how long now? I know he's not been in the starting lineup. He's been out on loan. But he's still been around United's training and first team for a couple of years now. And we're still not seeing enough from him that I want to be seeing. I thought Tuanzebe would be one of our centre-backs after the PSG game for the season. And if you look at the centre-back options, he's not going to play Bailly. We already know that. Bailly never plays Premier League football anymore for some reason. So I think he's going to stick with Lindelof Maguire. But I think that Tuanzebe could be effective this weekend, especially against a player like Antonio. And you've got Bowen, very fast, Ben Rama, a tricky player, Lingard. And I think he could cover a role in there that could be vital this weekend.
Yeah, I think Lingard will be. I think he'll be cup tied, won't he? He'll be
Is he not allowed to play?
He'll be eligible to play. I'm pretty certain United won't be that stupid. It was crazy how Darlow played last night against us while he's on loan. But here's one for you, mate. If, like Ollie was saying, that Cavani's got half a chance, would you push Alex Telles further forward as a makeshift winger for a game? Because he does get down that byline and he does get a good ball in the box, mate. With Cavani on the pitch as our main striker, James on the other side, players who get down the line, traditional sort of winger style, crossing the ball in the box. I know people may say I'm crazy, but for me, it's sort of simple football makes sense sometimes instead of trying to be too clever because we haven't got clever enough players. Play to some players' strengths for a change, maybe.
It really
just say to
crazy.
James, run down that line as fast as you can and cross the ball first time. Tell us do exactly the same. Then you maybe get Bruno coming in late and picking up pieces. And I don't know. Am I thinking outside the box? I think that's what this team needs to do right now, mate.
Look at City. Prime example. Cancelo, he was isolated. He wasn't getting into the team. The guys all of a sudden, he went from right back to left back. Didn't get in there. And now he's playing to a centre mid, and even the other week he was getting forward, nearly getting a goal. I know he didn't have a brilliant game against us, but he was due that because of how well he's been playing. And Darren's just put in the chat there, Ollie won't see that, and I don't think he will because he don't want to do anything too drastic because he knows after the game it will come back on him. But when you think of Telles in his best moments at United up to now, when you've seen him, I always think of Old Trafford on that left wing. He's always been like an attacking, a left wing back, which obviously you can't take Shaw out. Shaw's a guaranteed starter, definitely for the weekend, alongside Bruno. But Telles, he can play that role. It isn't a very, very silly suggestion. He can do that, and will Solskjaer do that?
Go free at the back with Shaw as the third centre back again. Play Telles as a wing back.
We did that with PSG, didn't we? We set up like that with Shaw playing more of a central and then going to wing back role, and Telles being more forward, and it was effective.
Yeah.
So it could work, but will it happen? It's another question that we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, no, I don't even. I'm just thinking, you know what? I'm looking at what we've got. Chandere, we have seen plenty of Tellers crossing balls in the box. Like we said, then in that PSG game as well. And he's put in a few decent balls in other games as well that we've been watching. He's known to put in a good ball, let's be honest. And he does like to get down that wing. Problem we've had with Martial and Rashford, or if it be Greenwood on the wings, they've always seemed to cut in and just play straight into danger. Whether that's because they're trying to involve Bruno too much in the game. Bruno's only going to get space if you try and deflect the ball and the attack and phase of play away from Bruno. If you do that, Bruno finds the space. Have we got the quality to get the ball back in then and get Bruno in to it, Zeki? That's the problem, mate, I think.
It's just, like you say, teams expect us to cut inside now. We try and walk it into the net.
We're obvious, aren't we?
But if we look at starting Tellers left wing, which we've said we don't think will happen, who's in there to fire the balls in the net, in the box, if Bruno isn't on the edge of the box? What if Bruno takes Nick early on and worst case he goes off the pitch? With Tellers up there, who's he going to be crossing the ball to? Yeah. And then that's when we need to walk the ball into the net, and we've not got them plays on the pitch. So at the moment, it sounds like crazy to say, but we have got a bit of an injury crisis going around, and thinking playing plays elsewhere isn't seeming so silly, but then it also isn't seeming very relevant when we've not got plays to deliver elsewhere on the pitch.
That's it, mate, innit? Oh, it is. Before we go, Zeki, mate, and everyone, I want you to get your predictions in for this weekend. Where do you see this game going? How do you see it going down? What are your score predictions for West Ham United against West Ham? Zeki, mate, how do you see it going down, pal? I know confidence is low again, but we could get that reaction that we got against City. We could easily get that again, but I fear for who's actually available this time. That's my biggest concern.
I suppose I don't want to be too negative. I know we've been full of draws recently, but then we've also not lost for a while. I'm probably missing out a result in my head here, but was it Sheffield, the last game we lost? So I don't think we'll get beat, but it's just, can we win and how many by? I want us to get a good win and go, I'd say 3-1 United is what I'd like. But if not, I do see, if the team isn't right, I can see a 1-1, 2-2 draw.
Popular is the draw on this one. I'm guessing this is the way it's going to be with the bookies as well. The draw is going to be massively popular, isn't it? Yeah. You can't see past it, can you, really, with David Moyes in town? But we're hoping that one bit of magic from that one player again is going to help us and pull us out of the mire, because that's what we're looking like at the moment. But for Bruno's ball last night and an outstanding finish from Diallo, and before we go, I don't want to go and a whole video without saying it, but massive credit to Diallo and well done, son, for your debut. Well, the longest spell you've had on the pitch anyway. And you know what? He looks rapid and he looks hungry for it. So I just want to say there is positives in this. We're just running out of them right now, and that's the worry for this weekend. But for now, guys, I just need you to do 3 things. Give the video a like, pray United get a win, and hit that subscribe button just under Zeki's post box there. If you are watching for the first time, get behind the channel. You'll catch me on Owen's channel and on Sai's channel, both tonight, as we go into detail on more of what is going down. It is one of them busy nights, guys. The missus is 40 tomorrow, so I'm having the whole day off. It's just the way it is. I'm just going to
having Sunday off as well, Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day, mate, on Sunday. I know it's double header for me this weekend, but I'm hoping United don't try and ruin it anyway. But for now, people, just want to say, Zeki, cheers for coming on, mate.
Thanks, Adam. Nice one. Not been on for a while, so it's good to get on and talk with you about.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And there's Zeki's tag just underneath him there as well, if you want to catch him on.
This side. I still can't get it. Reverse camera.
Yeah, no, you got to reverse camerise it, mate. Is that your Twitter or your Insta, mate?
That's my Twitter there, yeah. Just drop us a follow
on Twitter there, mate. Zeki. Nice one. Cheers for coming on, mate. Everyone, super chats and chats. Bang on comments in the comment section again tonight. You guys are on fire at the moment. I will see you all at weekend for the watch along. Hopefully we'll have Paul and we'll have Tim on watching the game against West Ham. I couldn't tell you, people. I really couldn't. But we live in hope. A win against West Ham goes a long way for confirming that Champions League spot right now. Anything less, we may have a tricky run in. But for now, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Enjoy your weekends. See you soon. Bye-bye.